if we keep increasing home prices in Utah by 10 to 30% a year over the course of a decade, there reaches a point where the home buyers just drown. How's it going? My name is Christopher. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate, affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 29th of April, 2024, and this is the numbers and the nuance. This is the video series that you come to every Monday or whenever you get around to it in the week. But I'm tracking numbers right off the MLS from Monday to Monday and showing you the trends of where things are going in Utah's housing market. Now this week in today's video, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. Normally what I do is I give you the nuance, my breakdown, my opinion of what the market looks like as it stands in the present from previous Monday to now. And I'm taking into account all the numbers that I will show you after that, but it's the nuance portion of the video. And then I show you the numbers. I just show you the charts that I've got with numbers plugged in right from the MLS so that you can see what the numbers and the trends are. Today, I'm gonna flash those charts and numbers up on the screen. I'm not gonna talk about the numbers very much per se. You'll see the number on the charts that corresponds to each data set that I'm talking about. But today I want to take a moment and reflect on whether each of these sets of data reflects that we've got a seller's market or a buyer's market. So let's look at it from the top. Our inventory has been slowly coming up for the last couple of months. Inventory moving up is, it's supply moving up, right? And as supply comes up, that tends to be in favor of the buyers. However, we're already kind of deep in seller market territory in terms of how much inventory we have available to sell. If we were to meet the current level of demand in Utah, we'd be closer to like 10,000 homes actively for sale on the market, and we're sitting just under 8,000. So we could stand a couple thousand more before we call it even like an even market, right? So we're still in seller market territory here on inventory. This is favoring the sellers. Days on market is moving down and moving down pretty fast. Just remember the number, that number 44 there, that's the average. If homes look good and hit the market right now, they're going in a week or two, maybe 3. And right now there's a bunch of homes that were on market through like the winter cold months of the first quarter, January, February, March, that are now selling, and that brings the average days on market up to 44. But we can see that it's moving down quickly as more of those homes sell and more homes get put on the market in the midst of the high level of spring demand. So days on market, this data set is showing to be in favor of the sellers. Average list price trending up, average sold price also trending up, and the difference between those two numbers is a gap that was in the buyer's favor and is narrowing to be closer to no difference at all between the asking price and the actual sold price of a home. So this is in favor of the sellers right now. Number of homes being sold every week is a number that is traveling up. That's our level of demand. So supply is relatively low and demand is increasing. This is in favor of the sellers. The number of homes currently under contract has been trending up for some time. That is in favor of the sellers. We're gonna come back to weekly price reductions and skip ahead to the number of listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn from the MLS. This number has trended down. It's stayed relatively low. You see that it peaks at the very beginning of each month. It just tells us that most or a significant number of folks write their listing contracts to expire at the end of a given month. And so the Monday following the end of a month, we see this number shoot up. But in general, this number is staying relatively low. And that tells us that seller confidence in the market is high. They're confident, sellers, that if we put our home on the market right now, that we won't have a problem getting it sold. That's kind of obvious given what our market looks like right now. And so this number reflects things being in favor of the sellers. And finally, the weekly price reductions. This has been trending strongly up, and I want to know, how do we reconcile the number of price reductions happening every week going up so much in the context of everything else being in favor of the seller? Okay, so I want you to imagine a man in very deep water surrounded by twigs, right? Not logs, not even big sticks, but twigs. He's gonna tread water for as long as he can, and then he's gonna get tired, and then he's gonna start flailing for twigs. They don't keep him afloat. They float in and of themselves, like they're something. They're just not enough to keep this man from drowning. And now I want you to think of that drowning man as the Utah home buyer, especially first-time home buyers. And I want you to think of the ever-increasing price of homes and our low supply and our high demand and the urgency around buying a home. I want you to think of all that as the forces contributing to this man drowning. And I want you to understand that as the people who dive into the deep waters of the Utah housing market see fewer and fewer options that will work for them, he'll start flailing for anything that he can get. He'll start flailing for twigs, and he'll just say, please seller, give us some concessions in some way, shape, or form, like bring the price down or pay for our closing costs or something. Just throw us something. And the sellers are saying, sure, and dropping their house price by 5 to 10K. And it's twigs, you guys, it's twigs. So sellers are looking at the market moving in their favor, and they're aggressively pricing their homes according to what the market suggests they should price their home for. And then they're giving out a lot of twigs to help with the struggle that the home buyers are going for. So we see an increase in the number of price reductions from week to week, but it's not making a big difference as far as the buyers are concerned. And eventually, if we keep increasing home prices in Utah by 10 to 30% a year over the course of a decade, there reaches a point where the home buyers just drown. And before too long, home sellers in Utah, the only people who are gonna have the buying power to jump in these waters are from California. I know a lot of you have a problem with that. So now, if you've sold your home in the last 5 years, or if you're thinking of selling your home now, or if you're in the middle of that process right now, I want you to think about all the times in the last 5 years or so that you've watched the housing market do what it's been doing here in Utah, and you've had conversations about how insane it is and how it's just bananas, and the thoughts that you've had of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get a new home, or I don't know if I'll ever be able to upgrade my home from where I am to one that I'd like, and I have no idea if my kids are ever going to be able to own a home in Utah. And now I want you to think about when you sold your home, or if you're selling your home right now, how begrudgingly you give anything to the buyers. And just contrast those two things. Contrast the thoughts you've had about the market, contrast the conversations you've had about the market with the way you actually went about selling your home. Now, I'm a capitalist, I'm a free market guy, and I'm not suggesting we go socialist here and just give people free homes. I'm not suggesting that everybody lower their price by 100K to help everybody. I mean, that would give us a whole new set of problems. We'd have a flood of buyers, our inventory would practically disappear, and it would just be its own whole set of problems. I am suggesting that when it's time for you to sell your home, that you price it conservatively instead of aggressively for where the market points you to price your home. And that will do two very good things. In the short term, it will increase the likelihood of you getting multiple offers. And you want multiple offers, that's good. And in the long term, it will increase the amount of time that buyers are able to stay in the market. It'll increase the number of buyers that are able to stay in the market. And that's good for all of us. That's good for our economy long term. Now, I guarantee you're still going to get an incredible, a killing of a return on the investment for your home. If you've owned your home for 5 to 10 years and now you're selling it for literally twice what you bought it for, of course you're making a killing on that investment. Or if you're like my parents who bought a home in the early 1990s for like 200K, and now that home is pushing $1 million, what are you talking about? Of course you're gonna make a killing on that investment. You're gonna do fine selling your home. But because buyers' budgets tend to work in $25,000 increments, and they're saying, okay, I can go to 500K, maybe 525. And these $25,000 increments that buyers are looking at homes, if you price yours conservatively instead of aggressively on that scale, better things will happen for you and the economy. So I would just encourage those selling their homes to, yes, think about their own needs and to think about the health of the economy overall. Because the economy, guys, is not something that happens to us by government policy alone. It is the result of the combination of millions of people's choices, and you are people. And these are my thoughts this week, guys. A little bit of a soapbox. Remember too that I'm a real estate agent, right? I'm not just on here whining or complaining about the overpriced homes in our market. I get paid more if your house sells for more. I'm looking at a bigger picture and hopefully having a better vision of what would be good for all of us long term. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any thoughts or questions, or if you want to yell at me because you disagree with anything that I had to say here, let's do it in the comments. I'd be happy to respond there. If you are thinking to buy or sell a home in Utah in the coming months, you know I'd love to be on your team, and you know that I know this market like the back of my hand, and I'd love to work with you. And of course, if you want to stay educated on Utah's housing market, there's not going to be a better way than to hit that subscribe and stay up to date on it with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this, guys. We'll talk to you next time.